Today's first story is titled, Am I the asshole for ignoring my mom asking me to get involved with her new family after I got rich? My mom left my dad when I was 17, I'm 29 now, and had a new boyfriend literally straight away. We all suspected that she was cheating with this dude beforehand, but there was never any proof, and she even to this day refuses to admit it. She had 2 more kids with this guy. When my mom and dad broke up, I moved out to live with my dad, who had moved back in with his parents. The major reason for this was because she told me to leave as I kept fighting with her new dude. I really did not want to deal with a new guy in my mom's life, and I was really upset that she didn't give a shit about how much pain my dad was in. When she told me to leave, something in me changed, and I am still unable to forgive her. That solidified BC. My 14-year-old sister stayed with my mom for a year and then begged to come and live with my dad because she hated it so much at my mom's place. And my sister and mom were close, so for my sister to feel that way, it must have been bad. Since I was 18, my grandparents kept pushing me to start a business. I liked to tinker and had built a few specialized tools for a niche construction industry that my dad was in, and they saw potential in me. They gave me a lot of money as an investment. Actually, they mortgaged their house, that's much they believed in me, and basically, I majorly lucked out and managed to land some national contracts at 24 that turned into more than a few millions of dollars over a few months when the business boomed. The profit trajectory has risen since then, and basically, I'm living a life I never thought would be for a schmuck like me. I moved my dad, sister, and grandparents out to the East Coast a couple years back, and we've started a new life. I am surrounded by people who see and saw the best in me, and I'm grateful so much because I was seriously messed up after my mom blew our family apart. For the last couple years or so, my mom has been on my case to reunite with her. She is getting increasingly more insistent that I go visit her and her boyfriend and kids, and keeps trying to guilt-trip me because my sister has a much more privileged life now and my younger 2 half-siblings don't. She keeps telling me that even if I don't forgive her, I should look out for the kids as they're innocent in all this. Am I the asshole because day to day I have no interest in helping her or her family? She made her bed and she can lay in it, but the guilt eats me alive sometimes. I just can't forgive her though. Before we move to the second story, make sure to like and subscribe. My sister wants me to adopt her baby, but I want a different kid. I know this is a little above this sub's pay grade, but there's not many people I can talk to in real life, so I'm turning to the internet. My husband had shitty birth parents, so he and his siblings were removed and put into the adoption system. They tried to keep the siblings together, but at the time they were put in, my husband and his full brother were far older than their younger half-siblings. The younger 2, a baby and a toddler, were adopted almost immediately. Then my husband was adopted at 10, and his older brother aged out at 18. The oldest 3 reunited, but they're still looking for the youngest. My husband and I want to adopt. Ideally, we want to adopt siblings, so we can keep them together, and preferably older kids, 10, as we know it's harder for older kids to get adopted. Obviously, it totally depends on the kids we meet and who we work with as a potential family, but we feel very strongly about adopting older siblings and keeping them together. We've been told that they'll rematch us very soon, but we've been waiting to hear back for a while now. There was meant to be an open day at a local home, but it's been postponed due to current events. Enter my youngest sister. She's 19, in university, and pregnant. She was going to terminate but couldn't bring herself to do it. She reached out to us, asking us to adopt her child. We're approved as adoptive parents. We have a decently sized house with more than enough room. She and the father would willingly allow us to adopt the baby, and it would be a very short process for us because we are basically good to go here. However, due to the reasons stated above, this isn't exactly what we had in mind in terms of adopting. We're open to changing that plan, but there's also the issue of my sister being the bio mom. She says she can handle watching me potentially raise her baby, but I can't see this not causing issues, and feel like if she's going to adopt out, she should do it with a couple who aren't so close to home. We explained this and refused. Since then, various relatives, none of whom can take the baby for various reasons, have contacted us asking why we can't take the baby. We've explained and re-explained everything, but we're getting called selfish/mean/cruel for being picky, because we are at a place in our lives where we can have a baby and we're turning it down. We thought about asking our friends who are also trying to adopt what they think, but saying, "My sister offered me a baby but we don't want it," would be pretty tone deaf when some of them have been waiting years for one, and that whole sentiment combined with my family's arguments has made us feel incredibly guilty, so we're turning to the internet. Info: we're in the UK, and my husband and I have both been in our current employments for over 2 years, meaning we both have full access to paternity/maternity leave, up to a year of leave for me and 2 weeks for him. The system on that is honestly absurd, but that's another rant for another time. Turns out that whole bit is wrong and we'd be allowed to share our leave, so ignore it. And we took adoptive parenting classes that included baby stuff, so we are able to look after a baby. Both in terms of competency and finances, but we do feel we'd prefer an older child, preferably children, and we don't know if having a baby could affect our current adoption attempts. We want multiple children, as we're both from big families, and a baby in the house could cause an issue as we're trying to adopt older children, e.g. they might think we just want a free babysitter. Update: I told my sister about our friends mentioned earlier, how they're a great couple who have been trying to adopt a baby for 5 years now, how they've fostered babies and taken all the classes and know what they're doing, how they live locally and are willing to have an open adoption, and again repeated that myself and my husband don't want to adopt a baby. My sister said that open adoption to a couple of strangers wouldn't work for her, and a couple hours later said that mom and dad are going to help her out, so it looks like the baby will live with them for the next few years and my sister and her boyfriend will take over when they can. Everyone now feels like I am somehow at fault for my parents not getting to enjoy the beginning of their retirement, but I no longer feel guilty as it's clear that was what my sister wanted all along, someone to raise the baby for a few years so she could step in as the mother whenever it suited her.